Welcome to today's lesson. My name is Oscar, and we are able to progress from where we left. This evening, we are going to look at the summary of everything we have learned in this topic. I will start with the summary that is clearly here. We have looked at the national goals of education. We have also looked at the general ECDE objectives, and we also looked at the ECDE course objectives. And we saw that all of them are related because all of them, they were looking almost at similar goals. So let us review some of the similarities. If you look at the national goals of education, number one, are you able to read number one kindly, loudly?
Fostering nationalism, patriotism, and promoting national unity.
Yes, fostering nationalism, patriotism, and promoting national unity. If you look at that goal very well, let's come to the general ECDE objectives. And you look at it very well. Look at number two. Read at number two.
Develop a sense of nationhood and foster love for country.
Yes, develop a sense of nationhood and foster love of own country. And also number three talks about identify and utilize local resources that promote socio-economic development. So you'll see how they are related to number one. And then look at national goal number 5. Look at it, number 5. Are you able to, not number 5, sorry, number 5. Are you able to read number 5?
Yeah.
Yes, kindly read loudly.
Promote sound and moral religious values.
Yes, promote sound and moral religious values. Let us look at the ECDE. Look at number what? Look at number 7. Before 7, look at number 6. Read number 6. Are you able to see number 6?
Foster spiritual and moral growth.
Yeah, you can see they are related. This talks about foster spiritual and moral
spiritual and moral growth.
Very good. Let's look at the general ECDE course objectives. There is this number 6 again. Read at number 6 of the course objectives. What does it say?
Develop a positive attitude towards moral and religious values.
Yes, to promote, to develop a positive attitude towards moral and religious values. So if you look at them very well, it's an explanation. The course objectives were developed from the national goals of education. Remember, we said in Kenya, education starts from ECDE, goes to primary, then secondary, then we go to high school, and then tertiary. So with this, it shows that actually all the goals of every ECDE objective is derived from the national goals of education. Then, as we progress with our summary, we said number 2, that the national goals of education aim at harmonizing the education sector across the board. When we talk about harmonizing, means that going in line with other sectors of education. So the national goals of education aims to be a benchmark, to be a point at which every every ECDE program or school or institute or any other educational sector, even apart from ECDE, even if it's primary or high school, or even the college section, the skills training, they all get the main goals from the national goals of education. So that's why harmonization comes in, meaning that ECDE is not an exception. It does not teach out of what the national goals of education advocates for. Then we also have the national, the third one is the national goals of education include fostering unity. I think you remember that. Personal development and fulfillment, self-fulfillment. When we talk about fostering national unity, I would like you to actually look at it that that is why all children in Kenya, no matter their background, their county, maybe their town, maybe the color of the skin or gender, all of them will talk, will learn about one curriculum. And that is why they use the same books. They are by the same Ministry of Education. They are being advised by the same ministry. And then when you talk about the personal development and self-fulfillment, fulfillment, like in the development, that's where we have the development goes through our physical development, mental, we say cognitive. We also have, apart from the cognitive, we also have the moral development. That is why actually we talk about spiritual nourishment. We have also to be emotional, to develop emotionally, you see, because in life, everything is not going to be simple and easy. Sometimes we shall face failure, sometimes we shall have happiness, sometimes we shall face grief. Grief is when somebody dies. Sometimes we can have joy. So we should be emotionally, we should not be those people that when something good happens, we are too happy until now. We forget that this is life. Tomorrow again, when it is becoming too sad, we should not be the ones who are committing suicide and hanging ourselves or taking poisons. So actually, ECDE from the teacher, the child, and even the community in general should develop, you should have personal development and also self-fulfillment. When you achieve anything, you feel like, I'm satisfied. This is great. I'm able to sit for a NEC exam in certificate. I performed. I have gotten my better marks. So you see with this one is you are fulfilled your goal. You see, I already finished my high school. Now I am a teacher. Maybe after graduation, you shall go to a diploma, a degree, or even you shall open your own school, or you shall be a head teacher, or you shall be a head of a department in your county. So you see this is self-fulfillment. At least you can show your ability, you can contribute to the development of a nation, and this is great. And then another goal, other part of the goals is promoting social equality. What do we mean by social equality? What do you remember when we were talking on social equality? Example of the social equality? Okay. I'm not able to hear from your side. Okay. Social equality, this one, are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Yes. What do you mean by social equality? Can you try, please?
I can hear. So making the children to learn how to share the resources equally.
Yes, even if they have different financial backgrounds, even if they are from different families, even if some of them are different in gender, you know, some schools will say we are boys' school, some of them will say we are girls' school, But majorly, ECDE, you'll get that they are all gender there. Social equality means that all of them are treated the same. If it is break time, let them, all of them, break time. If it is a lesson for mathematics or number work, let them, all of them, learn number work. If it is time for maybe physical education, let all of them go to the field. So this is, we do not segregate and say, these ones are high class, these ones live in an estate, these ones live in maybe a slum. So those ones who are in a slum, they should sit this side. So the social equality in ECDE is very, very much key, and it is observed. And that is one of the national goals of education. Then we have enhancing economic and social development. When we say enhancing economic, that's why we talk about improvising, so that we can know how to use the materials around us and even make them in a way that they can even be bought by other people who may be interested in using what we can develop from the available materials. We are also able to earn a living. Maybe you can open a school, you can have an online institution like Big Pen, you can still even have other, you see, when ECD is developing, you can have other projects, for example, those ones that will cater for feeding, or maybe the feeding program. And that's why these children, they will be very much healthy if all of them, they will get vegetables, maybe they will get fruits, maybe they will get better, maybe let's say clean water. All of this is business, and it will channel money to the community, because those people who are even employed in the ECD centers, like for example, the Gatsmen, the cooks, the teachers, these people are growing economically, and even the social development. That's why those people who are not able to speak fluent Swahili, they will go to school, they will learn, or English. Their social standards come to an improved standard. Then developing positive attitudes towards the environment. We talked yesterday about cleaning the environment, ensuring that we do not pollute the environment, ensuring that we do not maybe expose children or even everybody around us to a harmful maybe gas, maybe noise, maybe any other way we could call it. But ideally is to ensure that our environment is good for us and even the generation to come. So ECD takes part of it in it, because we all get the harmonization from the national goals of education. And promoting, the last bit says promoting international consciousness. When we talk about international consciousness, this is when we should, as ECD teachers, children, and even the community should know that Kenya is part of the nation, the world, and this world has other countries. That's why we have East African countries. We should be conscious that we have other nations. For example, Tanzania, we have Ethiopia, we have Sudan, and Kenya is not the only country in the world. So they'll be able to be conscious that there is other international countries, or maybe international environments where we have to interdepend among others. That's why we even have trading. We have even multilateral agreements that are taking place between these countries. Then the last summary here on what we have learned since the beginning of this topic is ECD course objectives are targets to be met by the trainee. Trainee is you, because you are now in college, you want to sit for your neck. So ECD course objectives are targets to be met by a trainee to facilitate effective management of ECD centers. After the course, you should be able to manage ECD centers. You can manage different units in the ECD center. You can manage a class. As a class teacher, you ensure you teach the children. Maybe you make sure that they are taught all areas, and you can even carry out assessment for them. You can even give them extended work to go and do it at home, and then come and maybe mark tomorrow, follow up. You can also manage it by being a very nice trained cook. And this is where you will be able to ensure that they feed on balanced diet. You will ensure that maybe they get the food is well prepared, cleanliness of utensils, maybe water is well treated, and so forth and so on. You can also manage the security of these children, ensuring where they have their field is okay, they can play without harm. You can also be the unit of a head teacher or a director of a school, and ensuring that all teachers have materials they need. They also have, for example, other maybe the books they need, maybe the welfare is okay, catered for in the school. And you find ECD, when you are learning the ECD course, you get all, even administration of the ECD centers, management, and even you understand each and every bit of your role in the ECD section. So that is all what you need to know about chapter 2, which we have finished. We shall be starting chapter 3 maybe in our next session, but there are some activities we have to discuss together here. When you say activity, that means an exercise which we have to attempt. Number 1, are you able to see number 1? Kindly read. Okay, I'm not able to hear you. Number 1 is discuss the national goals of education. When you are asked such a question, discuss national goals of education. That's why I was explaining so well and so much, so that you can get what to say when you are discussing. You see, the question says discuss national goals of education. Does not say state. So stating is another question. Maybe they have told you state the national goals of education. You will just start one by one, and once you are finished, you go to the next question. Maybe you will say, if it is stating, you will say foster nationalism, patriotism, and promoting national unity. But this question says discuss. It means after stating the goal, the national goal of education, you explain something underneath it. That is why whatever I was talking, you see, was very important than even the notes, because that is how you will explain in your exam. So below, maybe number 1, when you have said fostering nationalism, patriotism, and promoting national unity, you will have to explain exactly what you'll have to explain exactly what the goal intends. Then maybe the next bit, which says, for example, if we say number 2, promoting social and economic development, again, you will have to explain how education promotes social and economic development. Again, remember, maybe it will depend with the marks you have. If the marks are 10, maybe you have to explain 5 of them. And then as you discuss, it depends with the number. For example, if they give you 4 marks and they've told you discuss, you see, you will have to write 2 national goals of, you give 2 national goals of education and explain. You give any 2, because the question was not that much maybe explained, like, okay, we need only this kind of explanation, or this kind, the first two, or the last two, or the fifth and the third, or the eighth and the first. So if the questions look that way, it means that they are not specific, and you have a very wide chance of answering it the way you can. So that is why NEC is very, very much free, depending on how you have revised and how ready you are. Number two, the question says, how can an ECDE teacher ensure that moral and religious concepts are upheld in an ECD center? How can an ECD teacher ensure that moral and religious concepts are upheld in an ECD center? With this kind of question, this is a practical question. You will not find it in the notes, even if you read it again and again, but you will have to think on how you as a teacher, you can ensure that maybe there is a moral concept and these children uphold them. So maybe you will do it through, you can give different reasons. And I told you the marks will guide you. If they tell you 1 mark, why do you have to explain 10 reasons? So you just say 1 and you keep there. You save time for the next session, the next question, because you don't know how the next question will look like. You don't know how the next, maybe the next question, maybe if it will be difficult for you to think or not. So ideally, you have to go according to the question. So with this, when it says, how can an ECD teacher ensure that moral and religious concepts are upheld in an ECD center? In this case, you will ensure, you will put the activities that will help this child to uphold what? Moral concept. For example, the PPI. Maybe every Friday on the table or on your schedule, you ensure that these children, in the assembly, they take part in the PPI. Or maybe they can pray when they are having meals. Or maybe you can even put another activity, like maybe they have lessons that before they started their religious lessons, they already have to pray, or maybe they have to read maybe Bible, or give a memory verse. So these activities ensure that the concept of religion is upheld among children. And then number 3, look at it. As an ECD teacher trainee, that one you should be very keen. That is a practical question. So when it comes that way, how can you achieve the national goals of education? You see, this is still the national goals of education, but it has been brought in a very designed way. So as you will be explaining it, you will be putting it at an end that your explanation shows an achievement. For example, you can say, you can ensure that you can ensure that you promote social equality and responsibility. You see that? So the way you are trying to explain in your explanation, there should be a national goal of education there. Maybe you can say, you will ensure that there is sound and moral religious values in your class, or maybe in your school. So the question still addresses the national goals of education. And then lastly says, compare the general goals of education and course objectives. This is now where you should be very, very, very keen, because this is a very specific question. It's not as general as the past 3. These are very, very specific questions. So you should know which goal is general and which one is course. So when you are comparing, the comparison can either have the similarities or differences. So it will depend the way you want to explain it. maybe you want to explain it in a way that you want to show the similarities. So you will be saying in the both general and course objectives, all of them, they promote and give a chance for the development of moral and spiritual, they give a chance for both spiritual and moral development. So if you look at it very well, it will be showing the similarity, but you can also stress on the differences. Maybe the general one looks at even the teacher, the whole system, the teacher, the country, you see, the Ministry of Education, the all stakeholders. But now with the course objectives, this one only focuses on maybe the trainee, and that's why it started by saying you as the trainee. Look at the last one. Says ECD course objectives are targets to be met by the trainee to facilitate effective management of ECD centers. You see, so it shows that the course objectives are specific to you. They are not general to all stakeholders. So when you are explaining to such questions, you ensure you need to know that am I talking to a general question? Am I responding to a specific question? Or maybe this is a freelance. You know, some of the questions are just free mark. It depends with how sharp you are and the way you are going to explain each idea. So reaching there, we are ending this lesson. And I would like to let you now know that next time when we come in, we shall start chapter 3, which talks about the policies of ECD childhood development in Kenya. Reaching there, maybe I will say bye-bye until we meet next week in the evening. Bye.